Greetings. Good life. This is Grandfather. Now, I want to tell you something about ancient history, modern history, and perhaps even history to come. Hundreds of years ago, peoples all over the world, especially peoples living close to the earth, were given the following information. You can even track it down if you work hard enough in ancient books. So some of you historians know about this or have interpreted things that will correlate. The peoples were told that they were living in the last of their time. That didn't have anything to do with their lifetimes or even their cultures. It meant that time as they knew it was changing radically and would literally be a world in the not too distant future that they, as they existed, could not live. They were told that the world as they knew it was coming to an end. And as a result, people did what you would expect them to do. They stocked up provisions, they made plans, they didn't know exactly what to do, but they attempted to step up in the course of teaching to the young ones, teaching them everything they knew from the elders and so on, so that they could survive in the coming hard times. That's the way they interpreted it. But for some other cultures living on the land who trusted the means of the message and had those who could speak, not unlike you are hearing now, Grandfather speaking to Robert Shapiro. Then they received more details. And the details they received are still in the lore of these peoples, some of whom still live on the earth today, the descendants, of course. And that's that the world as they knew it was coming to an end, and that people in the future, which really referred to the times you're living in now for the last 40 years or so, and will continue for a while yet. The people in the past were told that people in the future would go through a period of time where the world would be unstable because people would be moving onto a different level of time while the world was still in existence, and people and animals and plants would be living on that world. And that during those times the population would be so vast that people hundreds and hundreds of years ago would not even be able to imagine it. So then people who got more details like this still prepared, but they prepared in terms of education, how to live, how to prepare those who would come to move through times that would be unstable, that might be strange, that would most likely be unpredictable. And as a result, you have your now times. You are literally living in a timeless world. Now, I know you have time. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you have night and day, and so on. But the thread of time that you are living in now only goes back about 40 years. And it will go into the future as long as is needed, but most likely it will go into the future maybe 30 or 40 more years. What you are living in is something that is called experiential time, meaning you experience it, you can even regulate it and measure it, all right, but there is no way, of course, to control it, nor is it meant that you do that. These times you are living in are threads meant to connect the best of the past and the best of the future. It requires, however, that you become, at least temporarily, much more conscious, meaning bringing your soul self into your life as your day-to-day self, and even more, embracing your spirit self, which is your overall being, and which knows many, many things, including about other worlds, other peoples, different past times, meaning different times in the past that could be, that might be, and times that actually have been, meaning you may have the opportunity to transform the past, which is why I've been talking about transformation. And you could, in time, with the proper teaching, transform the past into something much more benevolent, which would almost instantaneously transform you and the way you feel into being much calmer, much more comfortable, and you would have no fights, no disputes with any people around you. You would all get along very well. In fact, you would feel so wonderful, you would be uncertain if you were still on earth. I'm going to teach you these things, all right? So the people in the past were told that the people in the future, meaning you all now, all right? The people in the past were told that one of the ways that people would know they were living in those times is that their personalities would at times seem like they were more than one person. That one day, or even within the same day, they would be like this, and the next day they would be like that, or as I say, even in the same day, from hour to hour. You might have very strong beliefs in one moment, and in the next moment, without anybody trying to convince you of anything, you would have very strong beliefs that are completely different. I know some of you are worried about this. You think that you're going crazy. It's not true. What this is about, all right, and I'm going to give you a symbol for it. It is about this. I know it looks like I'm making a version of the cross, and I'm not actually making an upside-down cross. What it is about experiential time, sometimes called vertical time. You see, I'm making a line up and down, okay? And at the bottom of that line, right here, I'm drawing another line, okay? So, experiential time as it meets the time you are living in from day to day. That's the symbol. You are literally living in a version of time that is fleeting. And one of the ways you can tell that this is so is that almost everyone's memory is struggling to be able to remember the past. Really now, where would you be without the ways and means that you have of keeping track of what you've done or what you need to remember? It would be almost impossible. For those of you who have the memory that is called sometimes photographic, you might say, oh, I can't get rid of things that I've seen, that I've heard. But even you, and some of you have even had this experience begin. Those of you that haven't, even you will find that your past memories will be disappearing. You'll notice even if you've tried to memorize something, and you can hold that memory in the past, you could hold it very well. Not so much now and in the future. Even you will be letting go of old memories. It doesn't mean that you're all having split personalities, that you're becoming unstable yourself. But because Mother Earth is unstable, since you are going through this time thread that causes you to feel so odd, you may need to help Mother Earth to be more stable. So don't reject it if you have these odd experiences. Know that what's happening when you seem to feel totally this way, and then almost in the next minute, totally that way, is that your soul and your spirit are attempting to educate your conscious day-to-day mental life so that you can understand the true nature of your existence. This really tells you something important to know, which is why I'm telling you today. And that's that you are literally becoming conscious beings. And by conscious, I do not talk about mental beings who can think. I'm talking about conscious beings who have the capacity to do things that are totally natural, that you do in your soul, that you do in your spirit, totally natural, things that you know, things that you feel, totally natural as your day-to-day, moment-to-moment self. Please don't fight it. It doesn't mean you have to give up your religion. It doesn't mean you have to give up your philosophy. It doesn't mean you have to give up your friends or loved ones. But you will very likely begin to think about them differently. One of the big things you've noticed, and one can look at the internet just to understand that, is that, and this is particularly important for those of you who are younger and you know that you just can't understand why people can't be friends with people all over the world, no matter who they are, where they're from, or for that matter, to a degree at least, what they've done. That is your spirit and soul saying, let go of the past that's causing you to fight, to harm, to be violent, and to maim those who have done nothing to you, but whom their ancestors have perhaps harmed your ancestors. Yes, I know that's a hard one, and I'm not trying to talk you out of your history. I am trying to talk you out of the idea that maintaining violence and preparing for violence, especially well beyond the need of it, such as atomic warfare, is completely unnecessary now. I'm also trying to talk you out of it, if I don't mind. If you don't mind my saying here, I don't usually advocate, but I'm trying to talk you out of the idea that people cannot hear you. Those of you who are doing violence because you believe that people can only hear with violence because that's the last resort and then they'll pay attention. Listen up. People can hear you now. People you don't even know are hearing you. So again, make an effort to present what you need people to understand without yelling, without screaming, including yelling and screaming on the internet, you know what I mean. Try to present what you need people to know in the most rational, down-to-earth, and even friendly way as possible. People all over the world want to know. They want to know how they can help. They want to know what they can do to bring about a better life for you and your people, and you and your children, and your children's children. This is happening right now, and it will continue to happen. I wanted to let you know that, so that you wouldn't perpetuate violence because you think that's all people can hear. It's not true. They can hear you now. So, again, present as globally as possible, and as is the most benevolent way you can present it. Try to present it that way. I know it won't be easy because you've been overwhelmed, you've been ignored in the past, but now you can be heard. So, present it. Try to present it in ways that catch people's attention, but do not harm them. The chances of harming people who are likely to become your allies and who can really support and help you is totally omnipresent right now. And that would be a big mistake. Don't alienate people who can be your friends. Now, there's more. People from the past were told that as a result of this, to them, apparent fragmentation of personality, that they, in their constant personality, all right, this is constant, would not be comfortable in these times, but that after that time was completed, that they would not only be welcome to reincarnate in that next version of time, but that they were asked by those who told them, their teachers and guides, to please incarnate and educate the people coming through that window of time that is not very stable, to educate them on how to live on the earth in the most benevolent way for all beings. So, you will not be without teachers. People will be born, say, depending on how long it will take to this time that you're experiencing, people will be born in, say, 20 years, maybe 30 years from now, certainly no more than 40 years from now, who will have profound wisdom. You've noticed many young parents, how even now children being born seem to have knowledge that is impossible to explain. These children are precursors of those children that will be born. So in that sense, the children will lead you, eh? It's true. So, I don't want you to worry that you won't be able to find a way or a means in order to grow and adapt. A moment. You won't be able to grow and adapt into that future. You will not only be able to grow and adapt, but you will be able to literally achieve as a daily version of yourself, your soul self and your spirit self as your day-to-day self living on earth. If you look back in what's been posted on this YouTube Benevolent Magic site, you will find many forms of teaching. A great deal of it has to do with how you can help yourselves and each other, and some of it, how you can help Earth. So, I want to give you a simple living prayer you can do now to help yourself and all beings. First, ask for all the most benevolent energy that is available for you to be all around and all about you. Pause for a moment. And then say, I am asking that Mother Earth, and all beings upon her now become stable and certain of existence, that she become friendly with all existence, including all human beings, plants and animals upon her, and that we, as human beings, promise to do the same, to be friendly and nurture stability with all peoples, all plants, all animals, and all life. And may that happen in the most benevolent way now. A little more. I want to give you a glimmer of your future. Some of you who are very young will live to see this. The future of this planet, as I've mentioned a little bit before, will be quite different. You find now that your population is massive, is it not? And yet, it won't be so massive if the Earth was 3 or 4 times its size. And that is possible. Of course, everything within the solar system will expand the same way, so there will not be any imbalances. When you come out of this temporary time thread, that's exactly what will be. And therefore, the population you have will have lots of room, the planet will be completely healthy, and you will also be completely healthy. Just wanted to tell you that so you will know that many good things are coming. But study the posts on this site, and if you can, on the written blogs as well. I know there's a lot of information there, but there's also a lot of training there, meant so that you can learn how to integrate things that your soul self does quite naturally and easily with your day-to-day self. When you are able to do that, you will find that it will be quite natural to experience your soul self as your day-to-day self. Quite natural and easy to get along with all life forms. Quite natural and easy to get along with all beings. And quite natural and easy for all beings to get along with you. Good life.